With the release of the new season, all of our ranks have reset. So obviously all of us want to get to Unreal again. So that is why in this video I'm going to be sharing a lot of tips and strategies to help you guys get to Unreal as fast as you possibly can. If this video helps you guys out in any way, make sure to hit that subscribe button as it will help me out so much. And also if you guys can just like even leave the video running out in the background, it will get me that much closer to monetization. And genuinely it will mean so much to me. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, to start off, I want to talk about which game mode you guys should actually play. Now, this season Epic have made some major changes, especially to competitive, which means playing ranked is really good practice for you to play tournaments. As you guys know, Epic have never really came out and telling which game mode actually gives you the most percentage. However, we as a community have figured out that having a good game in solos is the most beneficial to you. The reason for this is getting a top 10 in solos is way harder than getting a top 10 in squads, as there are 100 individual teams compared to like in squads there's 25 individual teams. And also, like, if you get a kill, you're basically wiping out a whole team, where in squads you have to kill 4 people because like they all are in one team. So that makes a kill way more valuable in solos or duos compared to squads. Way more valuable in solos and duos compared to squads or trios. This will probably make you guys ask me, which game mode should I actually play? I strongly believe you should play whichever game mode you're actually getting the most kills and like a highest placement. For example, you're really good in duos and you consistently drop high kill wins, but you often does one in solos, you should play duos. You should play the game mode which you're most comfortable in and have most fun playing. So overall, it's just personal preference. You should play whichever game mode you play the best in. If you guys are wondering, I personally play duos the most, but I frequently also play solos. So moving on, I'm going to be going into more detail of each stage of the game. Let's start by talking about some early game strategy. Starting off with the early game, this is a very important part of the game, because failing here will like make you lose a lot of percentage. So this part is crucial on your journey to Unreal. So there are mainly two types of players. The first type is the aggressive player who tries to get a lot of kills during the early game, and the second player is a player who plays a bit more safe until end game. So if you guys are an aggressive player, I advise you guys to go like to like a name POI. For example, the Raf maybe. But like where I personally would recommend you guys to go is probably like next to the medallion. For example, if you want to keep the Raft medallion, you guys could land Grim Gate, Reckless Railways, or maybe even Rebel's Roost. This will help you guys survive our spawn and rotate in later to get some kills. Also, another tip is as soon as you guys land and get some guns, often try to form some match, as like having no match is often the decisive factor of winning and losing fights during the early game. Also, if you guys are contested by multiple teams, they would eventually get into a fight, which will give you guys the perfect opportunity to third party, which will probably give you guys the upper hand in winning the fight. Also, while you guys are in the lower ranks, you guys may realize that like a lot of the opponents aren't really that skillful, which will give you guys a really good opportunity to get a lot of kills, which is perfect to rank up really fast. Now moving on to the more calm players, I advise you guys to go like somewhere around like the edge of the map. This could be a drop spot you guys found last season, or could be a drop spot you guys already found in the new season. It should be probably only contested by 1 or 2 teams max. So that is pretty much it for the early game. Moving on, I want to talk about the mid game of your match. Everyone's mid game is probably going to be different depending on where you land. It is important that you stick with your rotations and your looting path which you follow each game. Now again, there are two types of players in the mid game also. Starting off with the calm player. If you guys are a calm player, I advise you guys to rotate to the dead side of zone. Many people don't understand what dead side is. So basically what dead side is it is basically the side which has the least amount of players. And if you guys are wondering how to actually find which side, most 90% of the time it's the side which is furthest from zone. Also, if there are players in the dead side, like they probably aren't as confident in fighting, and as they are also trying to get as much placement as possible. So you guys should probably only remember that to play confident and probably a bit more aggressive when you're fighting those type of players. Also, another thing we know from Epic is kills in the end game is worth way more than kills in the early game. So getting kills in the end game will give you a lot more percentage. Now moving on to the aggressive type of players. If you're an aggressive aggressive player, what you should be doing in the mid game is that you can still be taking fights, but you should probably think about which fight you're taking. You shouldn't probably just fight everyone you see, and you should probably only take fights in like areas you're less likely to get third partied, as getting third partied is like a really good chance of you dying. So for example, don't take a fight if there's like a medallion next to you. That is pretty much it for the mid game. Now that we covered both the mid game and the early game, it only leaves us with the end game. But before I talk about the end game, I want to talk about some bonus tips which will give you guys so much percentage. The first bonus tip is go for the forecast servers, as it will give you guys so much percentage. And the second tip is to go for the island, as that will also give you guys so much percentage. You guys will often have to fight for this, but like it definitely is worth it, as it will boost your the amount of percentage you're gaining by so much. Now let's move on to the end game. To be honest, in rank there isn't really much of an end game, as by the time it's moving zones there's only hardly like 10 to 15 people left. But important factor is to actually go for the win and not be greedy for the kills. You guys may ask how to actually go for the win. It's pretty much like according to the match situation, but like a common factor you guys should do is try to go for height as much as possible, because during these type of situations getting height is really important. That is pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.